Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with Obsidian and Flint, he's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrived back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground. Each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly. As the old world awakens, we question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world, a way to keep working. With the flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. In every gray morning, he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, hello. We got some rain tonight. So, normally Wednesday's slab day, so I am going to work on some slabs, I guess. But I'm also going to knock this apart in the beginning. And then I'll work on some slabs. Or maybe not some, but check out a slab or two. I'm going to save some of these for later. For off camera. I don't want to nap these on camera. Nah. I want to try some of these out. Some of the ones that are dicey, I'm going to try on camera. So let's see. We got some people already. Yeah. 38 people. Your laughter is the first one. Hey, hey, Marty is here. Marty YB. JV, hey, how's it going? Chris Lithic, Mr. Jim, Aaron Bobby Estes, the Feathered Frontiersman, hello, how's it going? Chris Cox is here. Good evening. Mike Mason. Scott Goldsberry. Hey. Stoneface. Chris Lithic. Graylin Landry. Good evening. He's shaping the future. Yeah, I'm trying my best. Let's see. Flake Scars. Hello, hello. Kai is here. Hey. Is it slabs today? Yeah, slabs today. But I'm going to knock that around a little bit. I found out where these are from, actually. I thought these were from south of San Angelo, but no. We found these south of Sweetwater, Texas, not south of San Angelo. These particular pieces of flint with a chalky cortex were found south of Sweetwater, Texas. Yeah, I just talked to my friend Henry today, and he says, yeah, that's where we found it. It's still road rock, or ranch rock. I think it's road rock. We know some roads. Yes, we do. Yeah, you're not hearing static. It's actually raining. It's raining on and off. It just rained pretty hard a few minutes ago. Ralph Sajak is here. Hello, hello. I don't know if I've seen you before. Who else do we have? Spiffy. Are this frozen meats? Yeah, you wish. I don't do frozen meats. I do those things. Let's see. Who else we got? Let's see. I'm looking at the chat. Okay. Andrew Humphrey is here. What's up? Just doing the nightly thing. We do this every night now. AM Outdoors is here. Hey. Storming in Utah. Lightning and everything. Dang. Double sound, Patrick. Double sound? Uh-oh. Bill is here. Last night's live was mad good. Very informative. Awesome stuff. Easy Fish YouTube says, hey. Do I still have double sound? Never mind, it was me. I had two lives open. That's what you get. They're too technological. AM Outdoors says, what's up? Did I say hi to you already? Let me see. No? All right, let's see. What else? Ed Gould is here. You made it. Last night's live was good. Okay. Jack Green says hi. And the Fed is here. I'm on time tonight. Awesome. Jeff Jin, hey, how's it going? Bill MW, brah. And the Fed says, I've been late the last 2 nights, but I'm on time today. Awesome. Okay. So those are the shout outs. If you made it on time, you get a shout out. If you stroll in later, I might miss your entrance. Okay, so on these live streams, I have certain formats, right? Like today's supposed to be slabs, but I'll get to that a little bit later. I want to see what this chunk looks like on the inside. Okay, so hold on. We'll get back to the slabs in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to start doing this, showing you where I hit to reduce these down into bifaces. I'll be doing this quite often now. I'm practicing up for some of my instructional videos. Right? Yes. I need to do my instructional videos, catch up with those. But in the meantime, I can practice on this. So what I'll do is I'll hit here. Let's see, where else is good? I can hit this. It's not that great though, to run this flake. I can do a bunch of hits here, but they're not that great. But I do need to knock off that big old fat area, and that's the best place I can see. Yeah, I can't hit anywhere on this side. It's all cruddy, but I can hit this flat side inward, and then the next round of hits is going to be like that, and then after that it'll be like this. And we'll try to preserve this face if possible. I can also clear off some of this mess, maybe with potential hits into here, going that way. Okay, so I might try that. I got to get rid of these cracks and stuff. This face is a good face for hitting. Okay, and these dots are not exactly where I'm going to hit. They're just showing you that that's the possibilities. Okay? Why do I want to hit there? I want to hit there because it allows me to run this just to get it started. And yeah, it's going to reduce some width. We're not going to get the whole width out of this. All right, like I always say, you know, you've got to thin down the ends first, and if you lose the length or width, oh well. Did I say width before? I meant length. It's starting out at 5.5, but there's no way I'm going to get that much. Start out with a 14-ounce copper bopper, solid copper. It's been a while since I cleaned this up or ground it down, but I have ground it down once already to reshape it. All right, so you see where I put the dots, right? I don't see any other good spots to hit yet. So we're just going to go with what we got so far. Yeah, so I did hit right on there. That's another good... This is another good... nice rock. Yeah. It looks like it. You'll see, I can already see there's some impact fractures from nature. There's a crack in here. So we're going to start to slam the bopper into this and see if we can loosen up some of those cracks and get rid of some of the mess. Okay. So I hit right on that dot, which is a coincidence. But yeah, I guess those dots are in a good spot. Yeah. Dot in a good spot. So this is what it looks like. I can use that flake for something if it's not too cracked. I can maybe use this. Uh-oh. See, that's a natural crack in there. That patina shows a natural crack. Did we see that earlier? I don't know if I saw that earlier. It was hiding in there. Yeah. See that? It was hiding. There's this fresh stone all the way around it, but right in the middle, it was hiding in there. So sometimes that's what you get. You get those little hidden cracks because there's fresh stone all the way around. That means this crack was in the middle. Those will sneak up on you and ruin your day. Let's see here. No, that hit too low. Kind of crunchy. Sometimes it's the hit, sometimes it's the stone causing the crunches. Oh, that's nice. Nope, that went into the slab box. Not supposed to be in the slab basket. Not supposed to be there. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to keep hitting this good side. But I'm going to take off some of the delicate areas. So I'm trying to establish another pattern for doing my instructional videos. Okay, I'm going to be concentrating more on the stages and where I hit before I hit. You know, show you where my potential strikes are going to be and that sort of thing. Why am I going to do it that way? A lot of people have problems with this stage. I keep getting questions on this stage. constantly. So the only way I can figure to do this is just to show you where I'm going to hit before I hit. Instead of just showing you how I hit it, I'm going to show you where I hit it. Yeah, but I'm not going to explain exactly why, because it's always the same reason or reasons to get good flakes off of this and to, you know, preserve as much of this as I can for a biface. That's my standard procedure, okay? I don't want a bunch of crud flakes and a biface. I want a bunch of good, usable flakes and a biface. And that's what everybody wants to see anyway. Yeah. Okay, so as long as they're thick enough for arrowheads, they're good. Now this is starting to get not so good toward the middle. So this is one of those rocks that's good on the outside and bad on the inside. Or it needs heat on the inside, I can tell already. But the outside was good. But we shall see. I can hit there a little bit, get some of this cortex off, right? Just to see what's in there. Dang, I hit Mr. Piggles. Hopefully I don't knock his other ear off. This ear got knocked off, I don't know when, but not by me. Yeah, my stepmom dropped that lamp or something like that. That's her old lamp. I keep it in here because of the history of the channel. That was in some of my first live stream videos. Alright, what else are we going to do? We're going to check some other areas out? Or are we just going to keep doing this? Yeah, I guess we're going to just keep doing this. It's not that good of an angle right now, though. See that? It's going to glance off and not work too good. Let's try this just for grins and giggles, because I did put some dots there. Alright. Let's see if that gave us a good flake. I think it gave us a good flake. Yeah, I can use that, as long as it's not cracked. I don't see any major difficulties. Save that. I don't see any major issues there, which is good. I can hit there. I put a little mark there, so let's hit there. It's pretty random at this stage. It doesn't need to be all that great. As far as precision, as long as I get usable flakes, I'm happy. There's a dot right there, so let's hit that. Yeah, those are good. This is not as good as it was last night, but it's close, it looks like. I'm surprised that this is as solid as it is without major issues. Yeah. Let's knock off some of this. This is not good. I didn't put a dot there, but I need to get rid of that. This kind of stuff we need to get rid of. So why? Because it's all nasty. It doesn't knap well. Even though it might look cool to include some of that stuff, it'll bite you in the end when you're trying to thin it down. The object is to thin these things down eventually. So at this stage, I still need to get rid of a lot of mass on the ends. So I'm going to hit there. These are still good spots to hit. I'm gonna hit here and run this little ridge here like this. Okay, now on this side I can, yikes, I don't know what to do on this side. I can hit this just to trim it a little bit, but I've got to decide if I'm going to use this face or this face for the final piece. This one actually looks better than this one. So I'm going to focus on preserving this. So I'm not going to go this way. I'm not going to run that ridge yet, because that will remove too much of this nice face. So I'm going to, instead of going like this and getting rid of that, I'm going to go like this and get rid of that. I'm going to run this ridge, so to speak. Okay? Let's see if that works. I don't know for sure if it's going to work, but we'll see. Yeah, missed. Let's try it again. Yeah, didn't work that great. So I can try running the ridge from the other side by doing that. Okay. So, but I want this side, right? But I did sacrifice a little bit off of that, so I can now hit down this way. See how that works out? If I hit there, pop that off, and now with a little bit of fixing up, I can run the ridge this way. Because I was starting to run it this way, it didn't work that well, so now I'm going to run it this way. It's still not, it's not at a good angle, but you know, I'm planning on hitting there, but it's not that great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit from this side again. So I hit before right there, I'll hit there to get it, to lower this a little bit more. Okay, so it lowers this down so I can run that ridge a little bit better. Okay. I'm going to hit right on, in this case I'm going to hit right on the edge, sort of. Very close to the edge. Not high up, because if I go high up it'll just cut off that corner like that. I want to run this like that. So I'm going to hit lower down and see if I can shoot flakes across that way. If it doesn't work, I'm going to have to keep going, like I'm going to have to keep hitting this side, make this angle more steep so that I can get in there. Alright, let's see if I can do this. Well, it didn't run the ridge, but it did kind of flatten it a little bit. I can continue to attempt to run the ridge by hitting it right here now, anywhere along here. It's still not perfect, but at this stage we don't need to be perfect. The flake will probably not run this way, but run this way, which is okay. But we'll see. A little bit too shallow. Yeah. Let's see, what do we got? I want to preserve this side, so let's see if I can hit there. This side, it petered out. This is rounded. I don't like that for hitting because it tends to just bounce off. I like it to be more scooped like this side. See how this is concave and this is more convex? You want to hit on a concavity when you're doing this, not a convexity. This has got a little concavity in there, so I'm going to try to hit that even though it's kind of crumbly. It's okay. Maybe I can get rid of some of that crumbly stuff. So it's not too bad. It's still kind of crumbly in there. It might not work, but I'm going to try to run that ridge again. Alright, alright. Yeah, it's not going to work. So we're going to have to try something else. What I can do is I can run this way. Not yet, but I can run this into that area. But I gotta hit downward so I can lower this to run that. I'm not worried about this. Right? Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Why? It's okay. Even though I'm trying to preserve this side, this is going to have to come off anyway. All this is going to have to come off. This has got original surface. You don't ever know how good this original surface is. It's got to come off anyway. So that'll take off that step fracture. What I'm mainly concerned is with thinning this fat end down. So I'm going to hit right there. Yeah, it's kind of crunchy, so how about again? We'll try it again. Gonna hit right there. Now I can brush off some of this nasty, delicate, I call it nasty, delicate areas. It's just something that, it's not nasty, it's just, it's useless. Those delicate areas are pretty useless at this stage. I'll try to run that again, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to give up and try something else to reduce this area. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to hit, it's not perfect, obviously. It's a little bit too delicate, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to try it up higher now. A little bit higher. Let's see. Oh, I missed. Still too low. Let's see. I'm going to try another zig so we can zag, but it didn't work. It's too crumbly. So we can try something else. How about hitting this? I can hit that in there. I can hit this there, somewhere in that area. So we're giving up on our previous attempts, and we're going to start doing this. I'm going to hit in that direction. See where that takes us. Yeah, that was a good flake. I can use that. I don't want to take off too much of this side because that's going to be our good side, hopefully. If something goes wrong, I can always use that side, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully this remains our good side, because we want our plan to succeed. Get rid of the delicate areas. All this happens in fast motion when I don't have to think about it. And yeah, if I had not thought about it, it might have gone in a little bit different direction. But I'm not sure. Okay, so yeah. So what do we got? What do we got? How did that improve our situation? Well, not much. I need to still run these ridges here or do something to remove that. So the best opportunity, I think, is just to take a little bit off of this. So I can get in there with a nice spot to strike. That's not perfect. Nothing that I do is going to be perfect. Okay? Unless it's by coincidence it happens to be perfect. Okay, so I just live with what I get. I try different things, and it's not always going to be what I really want. It rarely is what I really want, but we just live with what we get. So I'm going to hit down here and try again. We've been trying on this ridge for a while now, so keep going, because we do need to get rid of it. Let's see. That gives us a good flake. It was supposed to travel more this way, though, so I can get some of this off there, but I'll take it. This can be used later. The object is to get big flakes when we're able to. I'm still trying to get big flakes. In addition to thinning the ends and running ridges, I'm thinking about bigger flakes, so to speak, right? I don't know. The only thing that looks good is this one right here. Just hit right here. Going this way. It's the only thing that looks good to me right now. So we may change plans and make this our good side. Who knows? Let's try it. We missed it. So I think it's coming along okay. just coming along okay. I don't want to think about this too much or make it too complicated, but I do want to explain all this as clearly as I can. I'm removing the delicate areas. Let's see what I got. Now I can zigzag. If you watch my other videos, you can pretty much tell that I'm probably going to zigzag this. But I'll continue to mark it so you can see my plans before I strike. That's a good striking area to run this. This is okay here to run this. We still need to get rid of this mess. Yeah, I'm probably going to hit downward here, just down to go this way, just to get rid of some of that mass and see where we're at after that. I can hit this spot here to run this in this direction, flatten that out. And it's not really, I don't see any good spots. Well, I can hit there. That's not a bad spot. And run this way into that thick spot. So I'm just going to be running flakes into thick spots wherever I can. I like this first because it's on the end, and I like this one too. So I'm going to probably hit there and then look at the other stuff. I tend to do the ends first. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. Supposed to give me a good flake too. This is not a bad. That's not a bad flake, right? Wherever that came off of. Like that way. Yeah. So I missed the first one, scooped it out a lot, but this one here improved it. Yes, and I can save this for future. Now this side over here, this side looks a little bit weak, so from experience I know I got to grind it more. Yeah, so I'm going to run this. Yeah, tried to. Something happened, I don't know. Even when I ground it down more, I had a feeling it was going to do that. I'm going to hit this. And then I'm going to probably hit this. I'm going to run this way and that way. Let's see if that did it. Yeah, it did something. It did run it, but you know, it went sideways a little bit. That's all right. I'm going to hit this side right here. Yeah, I'm going to have to start grinding these edges more because they're just crushing. And strengthening by knocking off the delicate areas. The abrader doesn't knock off enough. It knocks off some of it. So where did I say I was going to go next? Well, I gotta have a mark here. I was going to do that. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, like that. Do I have another mark? Yeah, I was going to go downward right here to get rid of that, some of that stuff. Oh, there's a crack right in there. So let's see. Oh yeah, there's a mark here to go this way. Where else do I have marks? Anywhere? Okay, so we need to remark it. Let's grind it first. And I'll remark it. I need to get rid of some of this. This is a good spot to hit. Eventually going to hit this to run this ridge. Because we're going to run this that way and we're going to run this that way. I can hit this one to get rid of that. Hit this to run this way a little bit. I can hit this pot to run this way. So it's just opportunistic type of stuff. I can hit that to run this way. worked all that great. That was okay. That one did not work. I'm just gonna downward strike that. Get rid of that. Get rid of this kind of chaotically, because yeah. I saw some marks on there, but I'm not gonna do those. I see this here. Just short flakes. See that there? Why short flakes? Because I don't want to skin it down too thin yet. Okay. I don't know how snap and half-ish it is. And yeah, you can thin it too fast. If you thin it too fast in the middle, it can snap in half when you don't know the properties of it. So I don't like my previous marks right now. They don't look good. So I'm going to regrind it and remark it. Alright, so I gotta hit there to remove that. I gotta hit right here to remove this. I gotta hit right there to remove this stuff. I gotta hit there to remove that. I gotta hit along here to remove this. So I have that one, right? Yeah. I gotta hit right there to remove this. Hit there to remove this. It depends on how this goes. Yeah, I can hit there to remove this. Okay, now this is getting smaller, with smaller areas to hit, so I got to reduce the size of this. Just because of the top of it can get in there more. It's still useful to use a heavier bopper, but just to get more precise hits, I'm going to use a smaller diameter bopper. So you can hit, at this stage you got to hit small to lose small. I don't want to lose a bunch of edge, so I'm using the smaller one, both to be more precise and also to get in these little areas that are starting to get tighter. See, that didn't take off a big flake, but this is what I mean by hitting small and losing small. You don't want to lose a lot of material. Okay, so you want to hit small and generate good flakes and not lose too much of the edge. I'm going to hit this right there. A little bit too high, but it's okay. This right here. Hit downward. Get rid of some of this. Get rid of that. Okay, so, and then, do I have marks? I got marks everywhere, right? I'm going to hit this. Didn't work that great. And yeah, this goes much faster without explanations. But I'm going to try to explain everything as far as where I'm going to hit before I hit. Okay? I'm just going to mark where I see that I'm probably going to hit in a few minutes here. I'm probably going to hit downward there to take that off, and then I'll start zigzagging it. I need to hit this to get rid of that. I need to hit this again to get rid of this. And some of you already are looking at it saying, no, that's not where I would hit. That's not where I would hit. That's fine. But this is where I would hit. And this is last, because it's right in the middle. I always pick on the ends first. Pick on the ends. Pick on the ends. Ends first. And then the middle juicy spots. These are so juicy, but I gotta wait till the end. Always thin the end last. Yeah, just hit very small. Try to get good flakes. How do you do that? You've got to hit hard enough. The bigger the flake, the harder it is, the harder you need to hit. Okay? If you don't need a big flake, you don't need to hit very hard. But if you want a big flake, you got to hit hard, but you're still only going to hit a small area. And you got to get used to how much of a small area will allow you to have a pretty good sized flake. You have to get used to it. It's not something I can teach you. You just got to get used to it. It depends on the stone too. This stone is actually pretty good at not smashing, and I can hit a small area. Some stones don't let you do that. You have to have a big area no matter what, or it's not going to work. As an example. Okay, so I'm just telling you how to work this type of stone. It doesn't translate to all types of stone. But for this type, you want to preserve it, so you got to be careful that you don't remove too much, because it's so nice. And it allows you, it's nice because it also allows you to preserve it. It's nice in two different ways. It's nice to knap, and it also allows you to preserve it. Some stuff is nice to knap, but it won't allow you to hit small. This allows you to hit small. It didn't work all that well, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, I hit that before hitting this one. Oh well. I try to do the ends first, yeah. But sometimes I forget. Now I can work on the tip. I'm going to work on this tip a little bit, straighten this out. I want to get rid of some of this. So I'm going to hit up here. And I want to get rid of this, so I'm going to hit there. I also want to get rid of some of this, so I'm going to hit right there. Kind of straighten that out. The back is already pretty good. I do need to get rid of this eventually, but right now it's not good to hit. It's too delicate. I got to work on that and grind it down some. I still want to hit all of this on both sides. Get that thin down. Still want to hit a bunch of this stuff to get rid of that stuff here and get rid of this. And just flip it around and keep doing it. Keep whittling away at it. This is when we stop taking off big flakes because we don't have much to work with. Right? Right. Okay, so what I was going to do is this here. Straighten this out a little bit. Yeah, straighten it. It straightened it a little bit. Okay, so now we can work on the middle. Yes? Yeah, I think so. The ends are thinned down, so let's work on the middle. Work on the juicy spots. So I might be able to get a good flake, actually. Let's see. No, that didn't work. How about that? Yeah, these are crud flakes, a little bit too thin. I'll hit that spot. I missed, but it still worked pretty good for the final goal. The final goal was to get rid of that mass there. I was trying to hit there and go there, but that's worked. Yeah. I mean, it was good enough. Let's hit some of this. That's too delicate. Let's grind it. Let's abrade it. Make sure this one's already dull. So this is the only one that looks kind of delicate on this side. So that looks okay. A little bit too hard. What happened? I hit over here on this side, but it was kind of delicate. Something made it like it maybe had some incipients or something, caused that big old ring crack. That's a mistake. It's very similar to an overshot. It's like a reverse overshot where it takes too much off of the side you're striking instead of the opposite side. It's a ring crack. That's also a mistake. It's not a good thing. Although the edges are better for future knapping on a ring crack, it's still a mistake. Okay. And yeah, it can be advantageous because you can use this now. If you just want this as a tool, this is a good, you know, scraping surface. You can scrape stuff that has like a circular radius, that kind of thing. Anyways, we're not using this as a tool. This is going to become a projectile point. Okay? And I don't think back in the day they would stop and say, oh, I'm going to use this as a tool for something else. No, this is supposed to be a projectile point. They're going to carry on making this into a projectile point. Okay? All right. Again, I'd rather ring crack. Interesting. Interesting coincidence. Probably a bunch of incipients or something that weakens it. See, ring cracks usually happen when the edge is too weak. So something was weakening that edge. That's okay. We can get that from the other side eventually. We can get rid of that. As long as it doesn't scoop in too much, we're still in good shape. All right, so I'm going to hit there. Yeah, like that. So I can get in here. Yeah, so not only do I remove that mess, it gives me a chance to get a better shot at removing this. And since I don't have many options as far as thickness and, you know, mass to work with, I've got to be very particular about these edges and set them up a little bit better than before. Yeah, like that. The edges become more persnickety now as I move on to the harder parts of Flintknapping, more difficult aspects of Flintknapping. So I'm going to, you know, I'm going to hit these areas and encroach into this mess. It didn't work that well. I hit too low on that one. That was my fault. Inaccurate. Yikes. I hit right there instead. Luckily, I didn't snap it. That was okay. That was all right. Not quite what I was looking for, but that's okay. Still okay at this stage. I'm going to improve that edge so I can get in there. Strike again. I still need to get rid of that step fracture so I can hit here anywhere. And probably right there too. To encroach into this area to get rid of that mess right behind that step fracture. See if that did it. It felt like it did it. Yes? Yeah. But, you know, I didn't plan on that. I just hoped it would. There is such thing as hit and hope. And that was a hit and hope, and it worked. But you saw how many times I planned on hitting on something, and it didn't quite work that well. And I said, oh, it's okay. This time, it worked better than expected. Yeah. Not only did it remove that, I got a usable flake. So, I'm just going to trim it now. We're close to being done with the easy part. Yeah. So I'm just going to trim off what's wonky. Yeah. Let's straighten this out a little bit. So the original plan to keep one of these sides, I don't know if that worked or not. I don't know what side I was planning on keeping, so I just kind of went with the flow. Yeah, because the strikes were not working all that well, so I couldn't really plan it out all that well. So now I'm just ending up with what I you know, I'm living with what I got. I'm saying it's okay. But I'm going to get rid of this, some of this mass here before I quit the easy stage. Because these flakes are pretty much not very difficult to do in terms of thinning it down. They're not as difficult as the ones that come after. So I can hit, you know, various areas. Just to take off little flakes, I'm going to go into that area. I'm going to go into this area. Where it goes, nobody knows. You know, I'm going to go into these areas. Where they go, nobody knows. But I need to get rid of this mass. Okay. Let's try this first. Yeah, that was not too bad. It just went more this way than this way, which is okay, but we're still left with, see how it was supposed to go more this way so I wouldn't be left with so much here, but I can still remove it. I got two options. We're not going to do it with the billets. We have two options to encroach on this area again, but I'm going to do that with indirect percussion because it's already starting to get thin. I need to be very precise. I can't be messing this up. But on this side, I can still hit with the bopper and pretty much do what I want. I could use indirect percussion, but I think these are kind of a no-brainer strikes. Come on. Yeah, like that. They're no-brainer, and I hit very small and still get what I want. Okay. By habit, I know that I got to hit small. I don't want to lose too much width here. So I kind of sneak up on it. I just barely want to touch it with a good strike. It'll give me the flakes I want. Or, you know, close to the flakes I want. You know, it'd be nice if they would run a little longer, but it's okay. I just want to barely touch it, barely touch it. And if it doesn't work, if I just barely touch it and it still doesn't work, I just barely encroach a little bit more. Don't overdo it. Just barely encroach onto the surface. You just want to hit a little bit. That one took off a little bit more than I wanted, but that's okay. At least I got a good flake. I just want to take off a little bit off the edge. That's it. Yeah, like that. Just a little bit and get a good flake. All right, so that's it. Maybe this one. Yeah. So that's the easy part. Yeah. Relatively easy flakes. We're done with the first stage, the bifacing stage. Okay? I wanted to show you that and go over it with as much detail as I could. Okay, and I think we ended up with some good material. I don't see any major. There's some concrete areas that'll start rearing their ugly heads when we start getting it thin, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Now I can heat treat this. This is an excellent shape for heat treating, right? Once you get it bifaced after the first stage, once you do the easy part, you can heat treat this. And then once you take it out of the heat, just experiment with little bitty flakes and see if it naps better. After heat treating, it gets more snap and half-ish. So you got to remember, it will be more snap and half-ish. If you're fine with it with this type of consistency, it would be probably better. If you're having trouble with the snap and half-ish, don't heat treat it. Work with it as much as you can. Like this, unless it's like a total misery, and then you heat treat it. But this, I think, can be napped raw without heat treat. I'm just saying it can be heat treated at this stage if you really want to. Yeah. It makes it easier to notch, is one thing. Once you get down to where you want to notch it, if it's heat treated, it'll be much easier. Okay, all right, so that's it for that. We're going to move on to a slab now. Totally different mindset. I'm going to check the chat. Why is it a totally different mindset? Because it's already very weak. All slabs are weak in the middle. It's like making the mistake of thinning it down too fast in the middle. Like if I had thinned this too much in the middle so it's not tapered toward the ends, it'll be like a slab. See, a slab is way too weak in the middle. It's got fat ends and it's really thin in the middle already. That's a recipe for disaster on a slab. Unless you're only using pressure. That makes a big difference, yeah. But percussion, it should start out as a thicker piece. That's why rock sellers now sell what they call percussion slabs. They can be up to a 1/2 inch thick. Okay? If they cut it to a 1/2 inch thick or 3/8, they're doing you a big favor. I don't know if these are 3/8, they might be. Let's see. If they are, that's a big favor. Almost 3/8, not quite. Is that 3/8? That one's 3/8. See, this one, it should be at least this thick for a percussion slab. 1/2 inch is better. Yeah, for percussion. I'm going to be doing percussion on these. Okay, all right. Where's the chat? Where is it? I'm going to look for questions. Now's your chance. Let's see. You can, let's see. Bridget Marie Robbins is here. I don't know if I've seen you before. What material is this? Are you asking because you're joking? This here? This is stuff that we found near Sweetwater. I made a mistake before and said this was south of San Angelo type rock. This is south of Sweetwater type rock. It's just Edwards Plateau chert. The majority of what I knap is Edwards Plateau chert. Who knows what they call this locally? It's just we found this south of Sweetwater. I don't know exactly where because we were on roads, traveling dirt roads and back roads. Seriously, I don't even know where we were. Just I know that my friend Henry told me today that we were south of Sweetwater. I said, okay, cool. Yeah. He says, we're going to go there again in October. I said, okay, we'll see. We'll see if it's still got rocks there because, you know, never know. Somebody else might have found that spot. Yeah. Or you're just joking and you're making me work too hard. I don't like trying to remember where this stuff comes from or where it's called because it doesn't really matter that much. Bridget was being serious? Let's see. Oh, you're asking about the slabs. Okay, I think I know where these slabs come from. I know where this one comes from. This one is Coastal Plains. And I'm writing this down because someone might not understand the way I say it. Coastal Plains. Georgia Coastal Plains. Right? Heat treat. They call it Coastal Plains in general, but it's this purpley stuff. Because Coastal Plains comes in many different varieties. Okay, so there might be a local name for that purpley stuff. And this one is also Georgia Coastal Plains. Yeah. Of a different variety. Or it could be a coral. But I think this is Coastal Plains also. Just a lighter color. Because I got a bunch of this stuff from a friend of mine. David. Heat treat. David Brown. I got a bunch of this stuff from David Brown. He cuts it and heat treats it himself. Okay. And it's got defects. These are challenge pieces. He said these are challenge pieces. So yeah. Okay. I got a spot for those in my itinerary now in my live streams. So Let's see what else we got. Chris Lithic says he loves slabs. Is that a hint for someone to send you some slabs? Just a random Bigfoot says slabs scare me. Oh yeah. Ken Winton is here. If I was trying to nap that slab, it would kick my butt and put me in bed early. Bridget says, yeah, I'm from Georgia. All right. Awesome. You got lots of rocks in Georgia. Jesse Garcia says hi. Hello, hello. Chris Cox. Patrick, quick question. Who to buy the solid copper boppers from? Flintknapping.supplies.com. Flintknappingsupplies.com. That's where I get my stuff. That's where I get the solid copper boppers from. They're not cheap, but they're worth it. Flintknappingsupplies.com. Let's see. The Federal Frontiersman. So, how do bifaces and slabs differ while heat treatment? Is it better to heat thinner instead of nodules? Yeah, it's much better to heat thinner instead of nodules. That's why the professionals heat treat after slabbing, not before slabbing. You can heat treat before slabbing, but it's more better to heat treat after you cut them into slabs. And it's also better to heat treat after you turn your rocks into spalls. It's better to heat treat spalls and flakes than nodules, because the heat treating causes internal stresses. Now, some rocks, it doesn't matter. They can handle the internal stresses and they're fine. But some rocks get all delicate and weird. Let's see. Chris Lithic. Pat, does jasper need heat treat? Sometimes, yes. My Muka responded well, and I'm wondering about this red jasper I have. Try some flakes. Jasper usually improves with heat treatment, but not always. But usually, yes. Do people use tile saws to cut slabs? Yes. But you need a good quality one, or it's going to wear out the motor. Yeah. Let's see. Is there Knife River Flint in the slab basket? No, I still got a lot of your Knife River Flint, Marty. But it's mostly smaller pieces now. I napped all the bigger pieces. I'll start napping some more of the Knife River Flint. I still got some of that left. But I think there's none in here. Yeah. That's just pure slabs, no flakes. Yeah. Let's see. Kai says, what do you do to prep your turkey roaster for heat treating stones? Nothing. I just take out the stones that are in there if there's any in there. That's it. Oh, you mean how to set it up with insulation and a temperature gauge? Yeah, you insulate the lid and put in a temperature gauge. That's it. No sand, no fillers. Nowadays, I put a brick in the middle. Yeah, a concrete brick in the middle of my turkey roaster, because the middle seems to be a lot different in temperature than around the outsides. So, and my temperature gauge doesn't go to the middle. It goes to about 2 inches into the side. So I put a brick now in the middle. It reduces the amount that I can heat treat at one time, but it ensures that everything is heat treated to a consistent temperature. So I put a brick in the middle now. So insulate the lid, put a brick in the middle, and install a temperature gauge. The gauge on the side of the turkey roaster is not going to give you good readings. Okay? Let's see. What else? No questions? He's out of solid heads. Chris Cox says Flintknapping supplies has run out. Well, dang it, you just have to wait. There are other guys that sell solid copper bars, but I don't know if they're online. You can look up solid copper bar, inch or inch and a quarter or whatever solid copper you want. You can buy bars of it that are like 6 inches long from eBay, I believe. Let me see. I don't want to talk and tell you something that's not true. Let me see here. I'm going to look on eBay and see if they got these big old solid copper bars. Okay? And you can cut them yourself if you are so inclined. Copper bar, let's just say 1 inch. See if that works. Well, we got a bunch of stuff coming up. 1 inch, quarters inch solid round bar stock material. Is that a full inch and a quarter? Let's see. Picture. Yeah, inch and a quarter. He's got solid bar. That works pretty good. $9.80 plus $5 delivery. How long is it? Item description. Oh, we'll cut to any size. You pay actual shipping cost. Oh, I see. So it prices per inch. Okay, so it's like $9.80 an inch. You buy a 4-inch piece, that should work. But it's gonna, it's gonna run into some money, and then you pay the shipping. So it's not going to be cheap for the bar on any type of copper these days, unless you've got connections. There's ingots, you can buy ingots, you can try anything. You know me, I'll try anything too, so I don't see anything wrong with buying these ingots, but you may not like ingots. You might say ingots are for idiots. I don't know. Bars are for stars and ingots are for idiots. You might say that. There's a 1-inch diameter, $33, free delivery, 6 inches long. That's a good deal. I mean, $33 is not, nothing to sneeze at, but at least you get one that's already cut, 6 inches long. That's only like $5 an inch. $5 an inch instead of $9.80 an inch. So just look around on eBay.
Dude, you lost me after about 30 seconds, okay? I understood that you can look on eBay, okay? Come on, bro.
Okay, fine. We'll go back to the chat. Okay, what do you got? Yeah, I was thinking about solid head with plastic handle versus a solid copper. I know. But you can get these at Flintknapping If he's out, then you're out of luck. You got to wait till he makes more. But this is where I get these. It's the only place I know that I can get these that are quality items. Flintknapping Now, other guys might be selling them too. I don't know. Once I find something good, I don't try to fix it and go look somewhere else. Okay? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's see, Bill. Question marks. I made 3 arrowheads out of glass, but now I can't anymore because I destroyed the zigzag. Not sure what I'm doing wrong. How many arrowheads have you made? Have you made 100 arrowheads yet? If you have not made 100 arrowheads yet, that's what you're doing wrong. You'll figure it out after 100 arrowheads. I can't tell you exactly what you're doing wrong personally. Now, if you have a video on you messing up, I might be able to tell you what you're doing wrong. Let's see. Maybe you got a slower chip of less. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Try smaller boppers. Yeah. Let's see. What else? Any other questions? Before we move on to the slabs.
Bro, come on. I've been waiting all this time. You made me eat 2 pizzas while I was waiting. I had to heat them up and everything by myself because no one is going to watch Jack Crappy with me because they just leave the room.
All right, I'll go to the slabs. I'm sorry you had to eat all that pizza. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to break this slab right where there's a defect. That's going to cause trouble later on. Those little holes. I don't want no holes. And I'm going to have to... I don't know if I can keep that in the finished point or not. I'm going to have to be aware and be careful with that. But these are manageable. Okay? You might cry and think that that's cheating and it's just not worth watching my channel because I can't make miracles. I'm not going to make miracles. I'm going to nap reasonable stuff. Okay? Reasonable. I've learned that I need to be reasonable. Yeah. This looks okay. I mean, it's got some issues. You see those holes and stuff? But it's not as bad as the other one. So I'm just going to start on this one and see how it goes. It might break by itself without my help. It might just start breaking in delicate areas. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna use all indirect percussion on this stuff, unless I had to knock off a bunch at once. Do I have to knock off a bunch at once? Maybe. Let's start in this corner. I'm not gonna mark this because it's pretty easy to see what I'm doing. If you have to ask, why do I hit there and hit this and hit that? Just look at the flakes I'm getting. That'll tell you why I hit it there. Just look at the flakes that I'm getting. That's why I'm hitting there, because I want these flakes. Okay? And because I want this shape. And it's not perfect, but as long as I'm in the ballpark as far as shape and the size of flakes, I'm good. And I'm starting to zigzag. Why am I hitting there? To get these flakes. That's it. Pretty simple as far as understanding, I hope. I always take the square edges off, and this is a downward strike. Downward and kind of, you know, I don't know. It is downward, but it's also a kind of oblique. Downward oblique. Yeah. I'm hitting this flat spot in the flake scar. That's like a flat spot. And I hit in that direction. It's an oblique, but it's downward mainly because I'm on the surface. I'm not grinding anything because I'm hitting on the surface. Yeah. Okay. You don't need to grind the edge because I'm not hitting on the edge. I'm hitting on the surface. Like that. Okay. All right. And this is called zigzagging or stitching or whatever you want to call it. Cheating, being lazy, skipping the skinning. I like the skipping the skinning. You know, I'm not skinning the surface off yet. But, oh, we got some issues. So you can call this skipping the skinning. I don't skin it until it gets narrow. Okay? That's just the way I do it. You don't have to do it that way. And I think it is a heat treat even though it's kind of dull. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got a weird edge on this side. What'd you do to this one, David? You watching? That's just a natural edge right there. Anyways. And yeah, I'll hit a couple times before I flip it. It depends on if the first strike worked well or not. If it didn't work that well, I'll hit it twice. That kind of thing. And if you're confused, it's all right. It's okay. It's probably because you have not napped 100 arrowheads. If you're confused at this stage, you need to nap 100 arrowheads. It doesn't take that long. And you can arrange them in your keeper case, and you can see your progression without no one telling you what to do. You'll actually improve without guidance just by doing it. Now, if you don't have material to make 100 arrowheads, that's the main complaint that I get.
Bro, dude, if I had material to make 100 arrowheads, I wouldn't even tune into your channel because you're lame.
Okay, I understand all that. I'm just saying, if you have that, you don't need much else. Just go ahead and practice. I understand that not everybody has enough material to make 100 arrowheads. I understand. And yeah, you're going to have to be very careful with your stuff. Take all day on one point if you have to. And overthink it. I mean, what else are you going to do? I'm not going to be able to teach you how to be conservative with the material. I can tell you all kinds of things that hit small and lose small. Pay attention to the convexities and all that. But when you're in the thick of it and actually napping, a lot of that stuff just gets forgotten, and you're sitting there trying to figure out how to get past that step fracture.
He didn't tell me how to deal with step fractures. He just says hit small, lose small. He didn't tell me how to do damage control and step fractures. I mean, step fractures fit even stepping all over everything. Everything's all steppy.
I know. I don't know what to tell you about the step fractures. Except don't ask the flake to do too much. Okay? Alright. Let's see what else we got. Dang, I missed a lot of chat already. What is this? Oh, I missed a lot of chat. I apologize. Guys, you guys are talking up a storm. Oops. Come on, we don't want to see no weirdos in the other live streams. Holy cow, this is awesome. Thank you, if that's what you're talking about. Talking my stuff. Alright, so if I missed your question, I apologize. I'm not going to be looking at the chat too much. Alright, so here we go. And no, I'm not grinding too much. I'm still shaping the edges. Or I'm still trying to get the outline. I gotta see what I can work with also. I can't work with that. No. I'm gonna have to get it thin, right? I can't have that in there because that'll open up all kinds of crack possibilities. And go right across the whole point. It'll mess me up. So I'm gonna remove that. Little by little. Okay? Little by little. Just hitting on the surface, okay? This is going to drive some people crazy to see someone hitting. Nappers going to go crazy watching someone hit the surface. It's not supposed to be allowable. No. It's supposed to only hit the edge. What are you doing hitting the surface? That's the way I roll. You should know that by now. I don't listen to internet culture. Well, that reminds me. Time for the sign. I need to put some better stuff on there. I was looking at probabilistic versus deterministic today and doing research. Again, I was looking at that the other day. the initiation is where it's probabilistic. The start of the flake it's not deterministic. No matter what you do, you can never predict exactly how it's going to initiate. Okay, that's the probabilistic aspect of these fracture mechanics. Okay, however, it's localized in such a small area that it doesn't really affect your knapping all that much. So you know, even if you can't predict exactly where it's going to initiate, it's localized to such a small area that it doesn't matter too much. But when it's the rest of the flake is deterministic, but you don't know exactly where it's going to go. The flake knows, but it affects a much larger area, and that's why it's more consequential to note that it's hardest to predict the ending of the flake. Okay, because it affects much more of a area. So in practical terms, when I say it's harder to predict the ending, it's because the ending affects a larger area, and the flake's going to do what it's going to do. It's not probabilistic at the end, but it looks like it's probabilistic, and you often don't get what you want because it doesn't start how you want. If it doesn't start how you want, it's not going to end how you want. Okay? All right. But it affects a larger area at the termination or distal end of the flake. I'll get into all that. That's the kind of stuff that's in my book. Okay? We'll get to all that a little bit later. Yeah. As soon as I finalize everything, as soon as I assemble all kinds of goodies like that'll upset the traditional knappers, then I'll get that book published. Yeah, it's not going to upset enough people yet. No. Okay. See, that would have messed me up if I kept it in the middle. I got to get rid of all that. Man, there are no platforms. Liberate yourself. Yeah. Besides, platforms are not on here. They're on the flakes down there. I don't call these platforms anymore. I was brainwashed just like everybody else. And the lithic experts, they're still going to call this stuff platforms here, but they're not. In practical terms, the platforms are more recognizable down on the flakes. I can hit anywhere along the edge. I just call the areas that you hit the area of applied force, or the striking area, or whatever, pressure area. But technically it's the area of applied force. But there's also a direction associated with the force, so you get a vector. So, but just to keep it simpler, it's called the area of applied force. And it can be anywhere along the edge depending on what type of flake you want. If you want a certain type of flake, very specific, then yeah, you got to be kind of choosy. But in general, you can hit anywhere you want. It's all fair game. And the platforms are down on the flakes. That's how you can easily distinguish what a platform is, because it's very hard to know what a platform is if you're looking at the edge. Because you're saying to yourself, well, if I can hit this spot and that's a platform, what about the other spots? Aren't they platforms? And some people say, no, you got to prepare it in order for it to be a platform, and that sort of thing. And then it gets all involved in all kinds of weird things, and you go down the rabbit hole of the platforms. You don't want to go down the rabbit hole of the platforms. No. That's worse than the rabbit hole leading down into Neverland or whatever they call it. Okay? All right. So I'm getting rid of this. getting rid of these trouble spots. Just slowly. There's another trouble spot right in there. Dang it. And it's not just step fracturing. There's some weirdness. When the edge starts getting too thin, it does that. So it's already getting too thin, and I haven't even begun to thin. Dang it. It's already starting to get too thin. I'm not even paying attention to skinning off the original flakes surface because it's going to disappear eventually. I don't even need to pay attention to that. If I just succeed in thinning, that goes away. I don't have to pay attention to where that is. Okay. Let's just get this napped into a point. Wow, the rain stopped suddenly. Now it's all quiet. Yeah. I don't have to yell just to hear myself think. Yeah. It's all suddenly quiet. An eerie silence has befallen the forest. I'm right next to the forest. Yeah. We had 2 foxes in the yard just before I started the video. I threw out some cat food and the little foxes. We had 2 pups. Small gray foxes this time. And I knew they were from the same litter because they're hanging around with each other. Yeah. Same exact size and everything. Just little pups. I think the skunks could tell that little pups too, because the skunks didn't mind them all that much. Anyways. Maybe they look around together and they're eating scraps from other lawns as well. Who knows? Maybe they're, instead of dumpster diving together, they're lawn diving for scraps. I don't know. Somebody else might be feeding. Anyways, they seem like they know each other now. These foxes and the squirrels. No, foxes and skunks. Okay, so the rain is starting and stopping. I'm trying to get under that mess, but I'm not able to. Dang it. This is not going to be fun. No. It's going to be crunchy. Dang it. And it's cracked. I mean, this goes almost through the whole thing, I bet you. Come on, focus, stupid camera. I want to pay for the pro version of this streaming software, but it doesn't let me. I tried going on the site to buy the pro version of the streaming software. It won't let me do it. So now I can't. Now I have no possibility of adjusting the manual focus or having a manual focus option. So I'm going to have to find a whole new streaming software. Yeah. Goodness gracious. Isn't that always the way? It's funny how these challenge rocks are so challenging. I don't understand it. It's almost like my friend David has napped a bunch of this stuff and he knows already what's going to be trouble. Yeah. You can just tell that this is trouble by those little voids in this. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He already knows. Anyways, we'll see how far we can get without running into a big mess. So I'm going to probably have to leave this kind of thick because it's running into different areas that are nasty. Yep. And the only way to keep it from breaking, if it's nasty like this, is to keep it thick. But I'm going to go as thin as I possibly can. Yeah, take some risks. If you are risk averse, don't get into knapping. No, do not. Lots of risks involved with flint knapping. If you're risk averse, knapping is a curse. Yeah. Dang, it doesn't want to travel into the nasty areas, of course. The flakes don't want to venture into the no man's land. Okay. Let's see if that ventured in. I think it did. Yes. Do we have... Oh, we've got issues in there. Big time issues. Look at that. Nasty. You're so nasty. Yeah. This rock is so nasty. Ding. I'm going to move this. I got a chin-up bar set up in here. I forgot how hot it gets in the summer in here, and I don't want to work out in here, so I'm going to move it into the house. Yeah. I don't have room for it in my house, so I'm going to have to put it in my shipping area. But at least I'll be more motivated to use it. But yeah, every time I put a tool down, it seems I hit the tool bar, the chin-up bar stand, the bottom of the stand. Make all these dings. Anyways. Let's see. Hey, Jesse Yaki Napper is here. What happened? Did the other live stream end already? Did Jake's live stream end? I don't even know if he's on. I've been on for an hour and 33 minutes. Still got a lot of original surface on that side. It's nice how it gets all polished up, hasn't it? That's amazing how it polishes up, but then when you get rid of that surface, it's all dull. This is knapping just like, well, not just like, it's a little bit easier than floor tile, but it's not as consistent. At least floor tile doesn't have this mess in it. Yeah. At least that floor tile's not stupid. What? No, I didn't say nothing. Yeah, I shouldn't badmouth the stone. It's just, it can't help itself. It's from nature. Yeah. Gotta expect some abnormalities. Yeah. Just like with people. What? Nothing. I didn't say nothing. No. It wasn't me. Yeah, on the advice of counsel, I plead the Fifth Amendment. As provided under the Constitution. Cross my heart, hope to die. Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching congressional testimony. I'm not going to get into it though. It's a big circus. Alrighty there, that solved that problem. Yep, I knew it. There's a lesson. Yeah. See? Even leaving it thick. And I wasn't even hitting the base that hard. Hitting down here made that go. Okay, so that's a lesson in if you see a defect, don't keep going. It's better to just toss it than waste your time. Yeah. Okay?
No, I wanted you to fix it. Bro, come on. You're a napper. You're supposed to be able to work miracles and fix it and not do that. Now I have anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah. You have anxiety now? Well, this one's napping a little bit nicer. If you have anxiety from breakages, you need to be doing some meditation or something. Yeah, it helps. Or just, inject a little bit of humor. Tell yourself, yeah, that's it. That's just the way. That's just the way it goes. Nobody knows. How does it goes? Nobody knows. We got some issues with this because it's got a weird crack right there for some reason. And it's right in the middle, right where it's probably going to snap in half. Should I waste my time on this? Well, since this is like a learning experience for many people, I don't need to nap this to learn that it's going to break easy. But for other people, yeah, they don't understand that it can break easy. So that's why I do it. I'm trying to preserve it. And it might work, actually. Yeah. But even if you can preserve it and it's got a defect, and you're all proud of yourself for preserving it even though it has a defect, if you would try hunting with it and it breaks really easy, like on a bone instead of cutting through the bone of the animal, you just smarted yourself into being stupid. Yeah, you thought you were smart by finishing out something that had a defect in it because, that means you're a cool, awesome, skilled napper if you can make sure that you don't break it even if it has a defect. You're so awesome. But then when you try to use it, guess what? Or even if you don't use it and you drop it on a tabletop, just from like 2 inches above the tabletop, normally it won't break an arrowhead when you do that. But if it has a defect in it, it'll snap in many cases. And again, you smarted yourself into being stupid. Because you knew it was going to be delicate. Yeah.
That's why I don't watch this channel, bro, because you're so condescending and you're not nice.
I know. Tell me something I don't know. Yeah. Let's see here. Tommy Taylor's here. I got home to watch an hour-long video and take a test to go to the TBI for paving job starting tomorrow. Oh, dang. What is a TBI? Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat a little bit, but just a few comments. If I see it moving, occasionally I'll pay attention. But anyways, I'm trying to focus on this. Okay, I'm trying to focus on this. Get rid of the square edge. See if we have something that can be salvaged. And yeah, I can pick slabs that don't have any defects, but what's the fun in that? You don't learn that there can be defects that can mess you up. Yeah, all you learn is that if I do something like pick a nice slab and make a nice arrowhead, all you're learning is that there's a napper that's been doing it a long time, making a nice arrowhead out of nice material. Wow. Awesome. No struggles, no problems. He obviously has tons of money to buy expensive rocks out of my league using tools that I'll never get my hands on because they're out of stock. Wonderful. Tremendous. Fantastic. Yeah. So I try to nap difficult stuff. And hopefully there's less yawning. But I have a feeling that people just like seeing success. Because it's entertaining. They don't like seeing the mess ups. Even if it's a learning experience. I'm convinced that people don't like learning that much. They don't really like the process of learning. You gotta learn to suffer a little bit through the learning process. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, it's not breaking in half when I hit the base. Imagine that. It's because it doesn't have the same issues. It's got a weird crack right there, but I don't think that's an issue. It hasn't broken yet. I'd rather it break right now than later. Yeah. Later is bad. Causes anxiety. Yep. Cortisol makes you fat. Makes you get overweight and obese if you got too much cortisol or whatever they call it because of stress. I know from first-hand experience. Stressful job. I moved into a really stressful job, my last job I had, and man, I gained weight like a balloon. Wait a second. Balloons don't gain weight, dude. Well, I look like a balloon after gaining weight. How's that? Yeah. Anyways, I think we might actually have a winner here. I can see the light at the end of this tunnel. We'll just see if it's not a train coming at me. Sometimes, you know what they say. Sometimes the light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming straight at you. That happens in Flintknapping. You know that, right? Oh, yes. Water balloons gain weight. There you go. Is it water? I was a water balloon at work. My last job. Definitely. But you gotta put that qualifier on there. You gotta say water balloon. Otherwise, the default is gas balloon. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Jake had an auction. I gotta see those. I don't think I've ever seen one of Jake's auctions. I gotta go there and look. I've seen Sal's auctions. Let's see. Were turkey tails tied to a lanyard like the corner tang knives? Yes. Anything with such a small little tang is a lanyard point. Just try hafting it and using it, and you'll see. I mean, it's just common sense. I don't think we have an existing lanyard attached to a turkey tail in the archaeological record. We just use our common sense. There's no way I would haft that onto anything. After spending all that time making it. Yeah. Spent all that time making a perfect turkey tail and then haft it to a stick that'll break off in 5 minutes. You know, cause the point to break off. Even if you shake it like this, it'll break. Just haft the turkey tail. Just do it. And prove it to yourself that if you haft the turkey tail to something, even if it's reasonably hafted, and then hold it out and just shake it like this, that turkey tail is going to pop right off the end of it. Yeah. How do I know things like that happen? I don't know. I've had kids, remember? They wave it around like a magic wand. Look, it's a magic wand with your arrowhead on the end of it. I just shake. Ooh, oopsie daisy. And then they take off. They don't want to say who did it. Who did it? Who did it? That's when you don't hear anything. You hear a pin drop. Yeah. Funny how that works. If you want the kids to be quiet, you just say, okay, who did this? Even if no one did anything. If you want them to be quiet, you just, okay, who did this? And they all look, and no one says anything. They just, total silence. You can hear a pin drop. And no one ever did anything.
What do we do, Dad?
Who did what? No, I just wanted you guys to be quiet. Dad! It's not fair. Free speech. Free speech. Yeah, I know. Not when you're disturbing people. Jake auctions on his lives at the end of the live stream. Oh, okay, I get you. That's clever. I think I have seen him talking about that. I just didn't stay till the end. No wonder. Tommy, you might have a bidding war if Pat makes a turkey tail. I've got some Hornstone that might be big enough for a turkey tail. I just don't like making them. To tell the truth, to be honest, you know, I hate to admit it, but I don't like making turkey tails. Why? I don't know. A lot of times because, you know, some of them have like cortex on, or little spots of cortex on the top and bottom. And if I don't include that, someone's going to say,
You didn't do it right. I saw that some of those, well, the good ones, you know, if you're a good napper, you're going to have cortex on top and bottom. You know, I mean, if you really want to be a napper, it's got to have cortex.
And blah, 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 blah. That kind of thing. Anyways. They don't say it that way, but it's like they'll ask the question sneakily. They'll go, weren't some of those like had like different colors on top and bottom because they maximized the length with great skill and sometimes included the cortex with great skill, hint, hint. That's how they ask. Yeah. That's how you know that they're looking at you as like, God, she's lame. Bro, come on, you're lame. You didn't do it. Super glue and chalk dust off camera, Pat. It'll work. Yeah. There's various ways to be sneaky. I know. Oh, yes. I don't do it, though. Nope. I don't do it. I don't care. If you see me cheating, it'll be on... I mean, if I cheat, it'll be on video. Oh, yes. I don't want to be the only one cheating, doing stuff. I'm going to say, it wasn't only me. I cheated, yeah, but it wasn't only me, okay? It was not only me. I got, you know, I got backup. Yeah. We cheated as a team. Yeah. So don't blame me only. Oh, come on. It's not going to let me do it. Let's see. Well, I almost did it. It ran a flake and I didn't even notice. I still got original surface, right? I'm just whittling this down slowly, okay? It's going to look better in a little bit. And yeah, it's a spear, okay? I'm making a spear like that, right? Yeah, okay. No one's asked that question, though. They know. I think they know. Or I chased off all the ones that were asking about spears. Or they read the background and they go, oh, wait a second. Dang it, I can't ask the question because he's got spear right there. So he knows. Yeah, I can't ask if it's a spear. Chuckle, chuckle, grin, grin. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think that they're just rage baiting. I can't tell the difference between rage bait and just general questions. I cannot tell. I don't have the social skills to tell what's what. I just rather assume it's rage bait. Yeah, makes more sense. And if it is, you're trying to attract attention into the comment section, go for it. Yeah, makes the comment section more attractive to the viewers. I mean, or at least they'll be more engaged because they're going to argue. Yeah, you can get more engagement simply by stoking arguments. Yeah. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Also, incriminate yourself. Yeah. Free speech is awesome for incrimination. Self-incrimination. You got to allow it. If you don't allow self-incrimination, then you're protecting the people that might self-incriminate. You're not supposed to protect those goober heads. Let them talk and let them self-incriminate. That's what I say. Oh, are we getting there yet? I think we skinned it. Right? We skinned it. I don't see any original surface. I sneakily skinned it. I didn't even realize that I had done it myself. Imagine that. I'm just worried about the thinness. We got a hole in it right there. See that? Technically, we have a hagstone. What do we got? You don't know what a hagstone is? It would help if you spelled it, because it just doesn't sound right. I know. It's called a hagstone. Hagstone. What makes it a hagstone? Hole. 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 That's what makes it a hagstone. Technically, it's got a hole in it. It's in there. See? Okay. All right. What is the significance of a hagstone? Well, it's always seen as good luck among many cultures. Yeah. It's not for using, it's for looking through. It's not for shooting or cutting, it's just for looking through. It's good luck. No mercy for randos. Yeah. I'm going to thin down the tip now. Hopefully it'll stay together. I thinned down this okay. This okay? I thinned down that to an extent that is good. It's okay. Now I got to thin down the tip. I did something that I shouldn't do. I shouldn't have left it this thick. But it's the slab, so it's a little bit... you know, it's a little bit lending itself to, you know, consistent thickness all the way down. But I got to now thin it down at the tip and take risks unnecessary. I should have thinned it down earlier, yeah. Oh well. I don't know what I was thinking.
No, the point is you weren't thinking, so that theory, that little grift you got going about not thinking didn't work, huh?
I guess not. No, it's all BS. I'm just full of BS. I think it's funny. Oh, let's see, does that work? That works. Beauty. Yep. It works. And this is a heat treat. It's a lot better than the other piece. Yeah. It feels a little bit like Cook in its consistency. Yeah. It's not like Flint Ridge. It might look a little bit like Flint Ridge. It's snapping a lot like Cook, heat-treated Cook. It's got the same kind of feel to it also. It's just not as glossy. It is waxy and glossy kind of up here, but down here it's not. It's still okay though. I'm not complaining about it. It's better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I thought it was going to be kind of crunchy, but it turned out to be all right. That's good. I like when it does that. Little bitty flakes off the tip without removing the tip. Yeah. I can actually, if I get very persnickety with the indirect percussion, like, I don't make as many step fracturing mistakes. Yeah. It's funny how that works. Yep. I'm going to have to do pressure here soon. There's only so much I can do with the indirect percussion. I can't get into the little bitty areas. Well, I can try, but I'll have to keep sharpening this. It's annoying. I had to get this down to the same size as a pressure flaker. And it dulls fast. Because I'm using a little bit more force than I would with pressure when I use indirect percussion. So it wears down the tooltip a little bit faster. And that little bit of difference in wearing it down annoys me. Yeah. Because there's just an slight increase in the interruptions. Any increase in interruptions affects my mood. Oh yes. I don't know if that's autism or ADHD or what. Yeah. It does flake rather well. Yep. I'm not complaining about the flakeability. It flakes rather well. Just please don't let there be big voids in the middle. Sometimes I uncover voids that I don't see when I'm doing this. And it just puts a wrench in the gears, right? Throws a monkey wrench in the gears or whatever they call it. Starting to get thin. Oh, yes. Uh-oh. When it doesn't do anything, it causes incipients in many cases. Hopefully there's no incipients with that strike. That's all I need, is to have some cracks in the right in the middle, because it'll snap in the middle more easily than other places. Okay, nice. Yeah, it's hit and hope. I hit it and hope it doesn't mess it up. Okay. And no, I'm not stopping the flake or supporting the flakes. That's just incidental. Incidental, not intentional. Just because I lift up my finger and go, uh-oh. Okay, good. Doesn't mean I was supporting the flake. I'm supporting the whole piece. When I put my fingers right where I strike, it's supporting the whole piece, not the flake. Support of the flake is incidental, not intentional. Okay, okay. That's why I put it on the sign. Oh yeah. What did it do? It did that. There might be another hole in there. No, it doesn't go all the way through. But it might, if I get it more thin. But I'm not going to get too risky with this. That's it. I think that's it for the thinning. Yeah, besides, it's already 2 hours. It's time to wrap this up. Yeah, all right, let's check the chat before I move on to the next mindset. Clean. Yeah, nice and clean. Let's see. So yeah, I'm going to pressure flake it, but I'll notch it first. Yeah, this probably will notch relatively easily since it's a heat treat. I'm going to make sure I don't remove that hole. There's got some crystals in there. Yeah, little bitty ones. Okay. Let's compare it to our other one we made the other day. Remember this one? It's about the same size almost. Let's see if it'll fit. It's too fat, right? Yeah, it's too fat. I made it too fat on purpose. I didn't want it to break. This one's nice and thin. Just made a ranch rock or whatever it is. Road rock. In this case, I guess these are all road rocks. We found them on the road south of Sweetwater, Texas.
Is that like where people found the Sweetwater biface?
Yes. And I think this is why the Sweetwater biface is so thin, because of the material it's made from. This stuff is rather amazing. Okay? The terminations on the flakes on this stuff are different than other stones. It allows you to nap the flat. And I think that's why the Sweetwater biface was able to get so thin because of the material. Not necessarily, although yes, the skill is important. The material is also very important. It's like half the equation. It makes sense, I think, that the Sweetwater biface is made of some nice Sweetwater flint. Okay, let's check the chat. Let me see. Whoa, look at all that. I got some material similar. Going to nap it tomorrow, says Explore Florida. That would be the tism. Patrick makes it difficult for or annoying to switch gears. Ken Winton says, I forgot my high water boots, Patrick. Uh-oh. Ingrid asked me, how old are you? Are you asking me how old I am? Who is she asking? In European folklore, Hastings or hagstones were thought to be one of the ways mortals could see into the fairy lands and through something or other. Explore Florida says he's 25. Who is 25? I am certainly not 25 physically. Mike Mason says, I appreciate your meritocracy, Pat. I have meritocracy? Attorney Bailey is here. Saw an old video on that Hell Gap. That is why I wanted that one. Ah. Awesome. Not that educated about napping a turkey tail. I trust your judgment. Super glue, yep. Super glue is pretty good for flint nappers that mess things up. If they drop it by accident. What else we got in the chat? If you want to ask a question, please ask now or forever hold your peace. Let's see. You're asking me how old I am. I'm 63 years old. I was born in 1963, and I am 63. Yeah. I was married for 26 years to the same person, yeah. I got 6 children. I'm now living alone. I spent 35 years in dumb old Texas. Now I'm in dumb old Vermont. Much of my time in Texas I spent in South Texas. Now that's a whole different country down there. That's where I get some of my accent from, or some of my funny voices from my experiences in South Texas. And you don't even know what experiences I had in South Texas. Eric Kitty is here. Were you here earlier in the chat? Oh yeah, here comes the multiverse. No, it's the infinity multiverse. Let's see. Yeah, Hagstone's glamour is fairy magic. Yeah. Kai says, that was my question. Where are you from? I'm from all over the place. I grew up in New Hampshire, right? Until I was about 21, and then my mom took me and my 2 sisters down to Texas. Yeah, my mom is from Mexico originally. From a white Mexican family. Yes, there are white people that are Mexican people that speak Spanish. So, she wanted to be closer to her family. But she did not want to go back to Mexico. She wanted to stay in the U.S. So, we went down to South Texas. Very, very far Texas. Actually, in a town called Pharr. Pharr. That's our first place we went to. And oh yes, our experiences started to be very, very interesting down in South Texas. Yes. Mexico, USA is what I used to call it. They used to call me all sorts of names in Spanish. To this day, I still can't figure out what some of them mean. And maybe I don't want to know. Maybe. Anyway, I met my future wife down there in South Texas. Yeah, yeah. And all my children are from Texas. All born in Texas. I got like 90% of my buddies are from Texas. So I got to drive down there every couple, well, not couple, every 6 months or so. I'm driving down to Texas. But I'm back in Vermont. Well, I'm in New England. In my dad's house, he never moved out of New England except when he was in the Air Force. When I was born, he was in the Air Force, and I was born in Florida. Yeah. Of all places. Okay, what are we going to do? Am I going to talk about me, or am I going to do some Flintknapping? I don't know. It's already past the time. I've already gone over 2 hours. I don't have to continue. Let's see. Yeah, I lived in South Texas. I lived in Austin, Texas. I lived in West Texas in Midland. I lived in Georgetown, Texas, where there's Georgetown Flint. But that was before I started napping. Yeah. By the time I started napping, I had already moved out of Georgetown, Texas. Just a random Bigfoot. My 25 pounds of Georgetown came in today. Should I make some Neanderthal tools or some Eastern archaic tools? I think you should just make stuff that doesn't break. If you start planning on making certain items, you're going to break a lot of stuff. Just go with the flow, dude. Don't try to make a bunch of specific things, because you'll be breaking everything. That's just my advice. Ingrid asked me, have you ever done any Mayan arrows? Let me think about that one. You mean these Mayan type of points or actual arrows? Because I think I've done a Mayan point or two, but not arrows, complete arrows. To be honest, that's exactly what happened. Just a random Bigfoot says that's exactly what happened. You tried to make some specific things and broke everything? How did I know? Okay, so we're going to move on. Yep. I'm getting questions that are easily answered by people in the chat. You don't need me for those. Yeah. You probably don't need me for any of those questions, but I will try to answer the more difficult ones according to my 15, 16, or 17 years of experience in Flintknapping, whatever. I don't even know. It's at least 15 years of experience. Yeah. I should write it down. That way I have an instant access to how long I've been napping. Maybe I don't want to know. That's why I keep forgetting. We're going to use some steel for doing the notches. I'm going to make some Buenos notches. I don't know what to do. Just something easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yeah. How's that? Why make it difficult on myself? Yeah. So I'm just going to crunch them in. No fancy vertical pressure. Just crunch them in horizontally. Horizontally. Yeah. Relatively easy peasy for me. If I just crunch them in and not worry too much. If I blow off an ear or a barb, that's okay. I'll just fix it by making big old notches, because we don't need no stinking tiny little notches. No, we can make big old notches if we want. If the little ones don't work, we just make big old notches. Yeah. Oh, that didn't work. That worked. Yeah. Some people say, hey man, you sell those nachomatics. Why don't you just use the nachos? I should. You're right. I'm not thinking. Never thinking straight. I'm a nachomatic seller and I don't even use those. I have other videos where I use them. I will use them, but on bigger points. Yeah, these are kind of small, and it's kind of risky to use a nachomatic on little bitty points. That's my excuse. I mean, I could do it. Yeah. I don't feel like it. It's an acquired taste, the nachos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. These flintnappers worry too much. What is it with you guys?
Dude, you're talking to yourself. No one's worried about it.
Okay, fine. Aren't I always talking to myself, though? Yeah. On these live streams. I don't get no instant feedback. I gotta look at the chat. And some of it's delayed. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys are talking to each other. That's fine. That's good because you're not disturbing me while I try to focus. Yeah. I don't need no interruptions. Oh, I tried to do it and it didn't do it. I tried to thin down the flake path. Did that do it? I think that might have done it. Yep. Okay. That's a relief. I didn't realize that I needed to thin it down a lot more. It's stalled already. That notch. So hopefully now that it's thinner, it unstalled. Or I can unstall it. It's not unstalled yet. But I think with the thinning, it'll help a lot. I think. That's the theory anyway. Oh, you gotta be careful I don't mess up that hole in there. Look at that. I already did something bad. That's what I get. It's supposed to be non-steppy. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay. I don't feel so bad now, but there's still a little step fracture there. Yes? That's okay. Good. Yeah, I didn't want it to mess up. Where is my other pressure flaker? With a nice sharp tip. Oh, this is kind of sharp. Let me fix this edge first. Hold on. I made a mistake and didn't prepare well with the other notch. I mean, it worked out okay, but it's easier if I prepare better. And make sure this edge is done before I start notching. Especially on this side where that hole is. Let's see. I need to pre-thin the path of the notch. Yes, I need to do a little. I need to pre-thin it a little bit. Okay. Yeah, like that. Okay. It's starting to rain again. Okay, so let's see if we can finish the notching here in a minute. I'm going to stay until I finish. You can leave if you want to. I'm going to stay until I finish. Oh, that's way too. The notch is way too high up there. Oh dang. Alright, it'll be a little bit asymmetrical. Right or no? Or maybe not. It's funny how I lose viewers during some of the most important nappings of the whole night. I lose a lot of viewers, and that tells me that they're not here for the napping. Yeah. That preparation before the notching is extremely important. So if they were nappers, they wouldn't have left. There was a bunch of people that left. This is a different crowd on these live streams on the vertical format than on the horizontal format. On the horizontal format, I barely see large differences in the viewers. There's usually the same amount, pretty steady. But on these live streams, with the vertical format, there's a lot of people that that are doom scrolling. They're here for a little while and that's it. Yeah, like that. Now let's see if I can continue that notch because it started to stall. Let's see if I can continue that. Yes. So I was able to thin it down enough to restart it. I was able to thin it down enough for me to be able to restart it because it had stalled out pretty bad. Why do I want to restart it? Because people want to see how to make deep notches. They want to see buenos notches. Buenos notches. Yes. Yeah. Good enough. Good enough. Nice thinning flakes here. Should I do some thinning flakes from the other side? I should. Yeah, I can do one or two thinning flakes in here. Yes. I gotta prepare a little bit better though. Make sure it's nice and convex and make sure that we've got plenty of material to generate a nice flake. If the flake is too thin, it won't travel very far. So I gotta make sure that I position the edge just right, both in terms of being close to the obstacle and, you know, turned to this side. That's why there's a little bit of convexity now. I mean concavity. All right, all right. Man, I gotta clean off this rock dust. This is a very important flake, so every precaution needs to be taken. What is this? It's a small little flake in here, undetached. I see a step fracture that might interfere. I want that flake to travel to the middle there. I think it'll work. Let's see. Yeah. Did it stop? No, it did not stop. Voila. That's okay. Come on, focus. Stop doing that. The camera plays games with me. Okay? Yeah. Nice little thinning flake. Yeah. All right. Sharpening time? Sharpening time. I think I already ground down these edges. They look pretty dull. It needs to be dull before you sharpen it. I know it sounds funny that you dull it on purpose. But yeah, you gotta dull the edge so that it can handle the flakes. Handle the pressure that generates the flakes. Oh dang. Little step fracture near the tip. Right there, see that? Always. There's a little bit of a burr on this. Okay. Let's sharpen this other side a little bit. I'm only going to do the pass down one side, almost like beveling. So flip it over and do this. And then I'll flip it over the other way to see if there's any big protrusions. Get those out of there. Thin down the tip. That's okay. If I put too much effort into it, it's not going to work right. Yeah, it's good enough. If I see any fat spots, I'm just going to take those off. Hopefully, without messing up the edge. I see some fat spots that can be removed. Yes. Yeah. No fancy serrations or nothing. Nope. Okay. Good enough. Let's see. Symmetry. All right, from a slab. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing spectacular. I didn't want to thin it down too much because it's kind of risky. It has defects. Yeah. I do like the flake scars on this. Okay. I think we're done. Yeah, I think it'll fit in this haft now. Yeah, how did I know? It's about the same size as the other one, isn't it? Yeah, very close. Yeah, good. That's it. I'm going to say goodnight. Nice point, Patrick, says Jeff. Thank you. Looks great, says Ellen. Thank you. Nice flaking. Thank you. All right, I'm going to say goodnight. I am sleepy, although I did take a long nap today. Just so I could be at my best when doing the slabs. The slabs are challenging, yes. Yep, that's my excuse. I don't really need an excuse to take long naps, but that was my excuse today. All right, is that it? Yep, thanks for staying up. Thanks for showing up. We're going to do this again tomorrow night with another challenge. Probably some more of this road rock. I need to break up a bunch of the road rock so I can sell the flakes. Yeah, I'm never going to nap all of this stuff. I found a whole bucket full of road rocks. I'm getting more in October, so. Is this it? That's it. Ellen Mosaic says, good morning. Guten Morgen. All right. I have some wedge-like chunks of obsidian that I don't know if I can use for anything but learning with. Yeah, obsidian is not that useful for tools. It breaks easy. Well, yeah, it's good practice for thinning things down. Yeah, Jim Cooper says he'll take some solid pieces. No, I'm going to nap the solid pieces on video. Yeah. I need them for content. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thursday night. Challenge night. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.